Is it tough to qualify for the playoffs in the NHL? Well, while it could change this year, the Buffalo Sabres currently hold the longest postseason drought, having not appeared in the playoffs for 11 seasons. So it's definitely not easy. As we mentioned in our sports calendar video, for the most part the whole point of an NHL season is to bring home the Stanley Cup. To do this, teams must first make it to the playoffs. There are 32 teams in the NHL, 16 of which move on to the playoffs. So how do these 16 teams qualify each season? Let's talk about that today. We are Benchworm, and this is how NHL teams qualify for the playoffs. Welcome to Benchworm. We make videos that help people understand sports because we believe enjoying sports brings communities together. To understand how NHL teams advance to the playoffs, we have to talk about the regular season, conferences and divisions, and the wild card system. Let's start off with the regular season. This is the period of hockey right before the playoffs and after the preseason. The games played here decide which teams advance to the playoffs. During the regular season, each team plays 82 games, 41 at home and 41 away. The season uses a point system to determine the standings. Teams accumulate points for wins, overtime losses, and shootout losses. A win, whether in regulation, overtime, or shootout, is worth 2 points. An overtime loss is worth 1 point, and a shootout loss is worth 1 point. A regulation loss, meaning a loss within the standard 3 periods, is worth 0 points. So how many points does a team need to get into the playoffs? Well, there's no fixed number, as it all depends on the totals of the other teams in the league. The team with the most points in the 2021-22 regular season was the Florida Panthers with 122 points. The Nashville Predators squeaked into the playoffs with the lowest amount of points for a playoff team at 97 points. Just looking at point totals doesn't tell us the full story though. That brings us to the next section, conferences and divisions. In the NHL, the 32 teams are divided equally amongst two conferences, the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. When teams are competing for playoff spots, conferences matter. While there are 32 teams in the league and all the teams play one another, teams are competing for playoff spots against the teams within their own conference. This is because of the 16 playoff spots available, each conference is allocated 8 spots. This could lead to different qualifying point thresholds per conference. For example, in the 18-19 season, the Montreal Canadiens finished the regular season ranked 14th in the league with 96 points. While they ranked 14th in the league, they were actually 9th in their conference, and so they did not advance. 3 teams that had less points than them, the Dallas Stars, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Colorado Avalanche, advanced instead. This is because they were in a different conference. Within the conferences, the teams are then divided once more into divisions, 8 teams per division. The Western Conference contains the Pacific Division and the Central Division. The Eastern Conference contains the Metropolitan Division and the Atlantic Division. Rivalries are often created between teams within the same division. This is for a number of reasons, including the schedule. Teams play against divisional opponents 26 times a year. Geography. Teams within divisions can be geographically close, leading to rivalries like the Battle of Alberta. And lastly, the standings. Like we mentioned earlier, there are 16 playoff spots, and each conference is allocated 8 spots. Well, within these 8 spots, each division is allocated 3 spots, meaning the top 3 teams with the most points from each division advance to the playoffs. So what about the remaining 4 playoff spots? That's where the wild card comes in. To better illustrate this, let's look at last year's regular season standings. At the end of the 21-22 regular season, the top 3 teams from each division advanced to the playoffs. That left 4 playoff spots. Of the remaining 20 teams, the top 2 teams with the most points from each conference earned the wildcard spots and moved on to the playoffs. Last season, this meant the Pacific Division only sent 3 teams, while the Central Division sent 5. Thanks for watching. For more Benchworm, check out these Hockey 101 videos. Have more questions about sports? Let us know in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more Sports Explainer videos.